Hello, everybody. It's a sad, sad day for Brooklyn and for the whole world. Every place where children are, we have to start looking in how safe are our children. There was a person whose name is Levi Aaron, who unfortunately butchered an innocent 8.5-year-old boy who was lost on his way going home from school, killed him, butchered him, suffocated him, and most probably molested him, and then tried to get rid of his body. Now, the one that really did it was Levi Aaron. But he was only the final person to kill that child. We have so many killings every day in Brooklyn, and they don't all wind up in a dumpster. They wind up back in their houses, but they're killed. They're mentally killed. The molesters, when they get to these children, kill them. So from this boy that was killed and cut to pieces, we have to start figuring and understanding that when a boy gets raped or he gets molested, he is killed the same way. The only thing is he's a walking zombie and he can walk home, but his life is over with. Who is really responsible for what's happening in Brooklyn? It's Mr. Charles Hines and Mrs. Hannah White. Mr. Charles Hines is the unhonorable district attorney, and Mrs. Hannah White is the liaison for the Jewish community. Together with a few different Jewish organizations like Shomrim, Hatzolah, they are whitewashing all of the crimes of the community. 3 years ago, there was a rape. The Shomrim whitewashed it. 2 years ago, the Hatzolah and the Shomrim whitewashed it. They are over and above the police. And our question is, most of these people in the Shomrim don't even have a high school degree. How do they get that kind of power to run our lives in such a corrupted way? And we want that to be stopped. Now let's talk about an incident. A week before, there was a man, and his name is Menachem Mendel Deutsch. He abducted a boy in a synagogue in the basement. Not one, not two, 3 boys. One boy he molested and raped for an hour. The other one, I don't know how long, and the third one, I don't know how long. 11 o'clock at night, the father of one of the victims gets a call from Shomrim. And they say, listen, we know who did it. Come to our office. We'll sit down. We'll straighten it out quietly. So I, Mr. Rosenberg, Rabbi Rosenberg, did not let him go. And I made sure that I called up the newspapers and the televisions. Because once it hits the TV and it hits the news, it's very hard to whitewash. So the question is Shomrim a legal and official organization to work for the community or for the 5–10% pedophiles? That's what we have to find out. They knew who that man was. That means it's on their list. So why didn't they take care of it? And why, if he was finally, he's striked and we're trying to verify who he is, they call up the parent of the victim and they want to whitewash it? That's a question, right? But there's a bigger question than that. Why, in this case of Levi Aaron, they put a command post and everybody should go help to find the man? If it wasn't for the publicity and they would have found the man, they would have whitewashed it. All they would have asked is for $1 price and they would have whitewashed it. In our community, we know that they're corrupted. We don't trust them anything. We just want to find out how they got so powerful that they can run a community with corruption and nobody says anything. And that's bad news for all of us. The other thing is, Mr. Charles Hines was saying, I will do everything in my power. Mr. Charles Hines, if the TV and the news would have not gotten to this case, you would have called up Munkachirov and whitewashed it. And Mrs. Hannah White would have been the messenger. So don't tell us what you would do. The other thing is, even if it hits the news, when you accept bribes, according to Rabbi Joseph David Krause from Safeguarding Modesty in Brooklyn, claims that you are on their payroll. So even if it's a convicted rapist of 32 years rotting in jail, Rabbi Baruch Mordechai Leibowitz, you took him out of there and closed his file to the public, and he is praying in his house, and boys are coming to his prayers. So Mr. Charles Hines, we really want to understand, you will do the utmost in your power to do what? To protect the 5 to 10% pedophiles of Brooklyn. You will not do anything to arrest a person that does something which is wrong. You did not arrest the rabbi of Munkach, Rabbi Rabinovich, when he stole millions from the government. You did not arrest for years anybody that was a pedophile. You did everything against the law. But because you're an elected, the highest elected official of Brooklyn, you think you can do what you want. And our message to you is that you are so corrupted already, the community is so unsafe already, that we are asking the FBI to come in and to go through your office, all the files. And only then they will see the corruption that's going on here. We also would like to give this message to all the parents. You think you're paying $1 million or $2 million for a home in Borough Park? You think you're safe? You would be better off in Congo in Africa, because at least there you'd have a machine gun, and if anybody tries to break into your house, you blow his brains out. But here in Brooklyn, you can't have ammunition, and you're not even trained to use it. You're depending on the police of 66 Precinct or the police in 19 Williamsburg. Those people have liaisons who whitewash every crime. When I came in that I'm being threatened on my life, I told them I was shot. They wouldn't even make a report. I have a daughter which was shot 4 weeks ago with the paintballs. They didn't even make a report. They're not here to help us. They're here to show the government that there's minimum amount of crimes by not reporting them, obviously. And they have enough power to squeeze everybody out of the law system. When this man, who I pushed to go to the police by the case of Menachem Mendel, Deutsch, the first thing that the detective asked him in the 66th precinct, are you going to go through this whole thing, or the rabbis will ostracize you and then you'll quit out, because otherwise it doesn't even pay for me to start making a case. Shame on you, detective. It doesn't pay for you. You're getting paid from our tax money. What do you mean it doesn't pay? If this man is going to be pushed out from the rabbis by ostracization, it is your obligation to put them in jail because they're intruding in justice. This is the community that we live in. Unfortunately, we need changes, and we will get it. The tombstone of this boy will be the first stone for this new building that we're building, and that's called safety in Brooklyn. Get rid of Mr. Charles Hines from the office, put him in jail, right next to Mr. Levy Aaron and Mrs. Hannah White and some of the officers here which we can name you. We need FBI that they should come in and investigate everything. We have stories to tell you. Do you have the time to listen? Thank you.